The big thing is, right, whatever reasons you started the business, running away from a corporate job, you didn't want structure, you've got to understand that your mindset as an entrepreneur versus the mindset of your employees is totally different. But if you give them structure, processes, procedure, culture, human resources, all the things that they really need that you do not need, you will have your freedom back. You will have your business back and it will soar.
Tim, and I think you and I take it for granted that our friend is a best time, literally an incredible author who is out there speaking everywhere, and then we just get to have like friendship conversations and scheme on building things together. So the opportunity to get in front of and have a real interview with Clodagh Higgins is actually a really big deal. It's just so funny because we literally have calls. We have a standing call. We do all these things all the time. But to get the opportunity to put her in the studio and see and remember how incredible she is just an awesome experience.
Marcus, I'm friends with an author.
You are. And for everybody who's out there not watching the video, Tim is holding up Clodagh's incredible book, by the way. And if you're a digital agency owner and
Oh,
you
that's
don't
true. This
have
is a
it, yeah,
podcast.
you have to describe what it looks
Pod.
like. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
what's it look like,
All right.
Tim? What's it called?
I'm holding up Clodagh's book right now. It is called A Happy and Healthy Digital Agency. And I
Mm.
will tell you that when we started this, I was looking for books like this. And a couple years into starting this agency, I read this book and I had all sorts of respect for Clodagh. I reached out to her after I read the book, and it was just so ground floor about what you need to do. And she's very
Mhm.
matter of fact, but she's also very spot on about her direction. So I love talking with her. She's always got great insight. And if you are watching today on the video,
Mm.
you will see a hair color that you have not seen before.
Oh, I love that about Clodagh. So Clodagh, what people don't understand, Clodagh has a loud personality, but she has and she backs it up because she's got the loud style too. I think I've seen like several different hair colors over the years knowing her. Maybe the most recent one was purple, Tim, maybe?
Purple.
I'm
I was
not
going to say
sure.
favorite
Yeah,
color, purple.
purple. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, gosh, don't let the color haired fool you. She's got even more to give than her beautiful hair and her unbelievable, confident look. Clodagh continues to wow us with multiple organizations she's been a part of that has scaled past seven figures. And on this episode, she gets to tell us about the formula, the repeatable pieces that she's seen that attribute to scale. So without further ado, please welcome to the Agency Talk show, Clodagh Higgins.
Clodagh, it is so amazing to see your face. I just love everything about you. And so thank you so much for coming. How are you?
It's just a blast to see your face again, Marcus.
I think it's great to start with a little bit about you for people that don't know you that would qualify you as a scale expert. So can you give us a little bit of your story about like scale and agency and what you built?
Sure. Well, I'm a reformed agency owner, turned agency mentor and coach. Used to work at HubSpot, talked to hundreds of agencies there,
Yep.
and now have been part of a merger and acquisition consulting company and put together the largest inbound agency in the world, avidly across 5 countries, 5 languages, 5 cultures.
Wow.
And so when it comes to merging, scaling, as much as when you physically see me, I look, like I want to be front of house and I enjoy a bit of stage. I really do like being behind the scenes and empowering agency owners
I
to
would
have.
never have guessed that about you.
I know, right? It's a very weird thing, but I really want agency owners to have the agency that suits them, that they dream of for the right reasons. And scale is a really interesting one because sometimes agencies get into a bit of a competition going, I have to be this size, I have to have this many people, I have to have this amount of revenue, I have to be bronze, silver, gold in the partner tier program of choice.
Yeah.
And it can be a little hamster wheel. And so when it comes to scale, I want to even get off the hamster wheel and ask you, why do you want to scale?
So good.
Which way do you want to scale? What does scale look like to me? And why are you doing it? Because you got to dig in here. If you're doing it for your ego, if you're doing it for your numbers, if you're doing it from some reward, it ain't going to work.
You know, I feel like everybody's sitting around at home right now that actually resonates with that message. And they're saying to themselves, okay, well, cool. How do I know I actually should scale? And what does scaling right look like? What is the right way to scale? So tell us some like early indicators, like help us to understand that we're not doing it for ego. Like if there was a checklist of being like, it's not my vanity and it's not me wanting to be like a big deal, then what is the right checklist that says like, oh yeah, if it's feeling like this, if it's looking like this, then I should be having the conversation or looking to scale.
Yeah, so when I start working with agencies, the first exercise I do is just send them off to go and have a big think for themselves, to go like think about why they started the business, what are those reasons today? And when they think of scaling, if it's scaling in size, so do they want more people? Do they want more clients? Do they want more revenue? Do they want more profit? Do they want more accolades when it comes to external things? It's to sit down and ask themselves why. And intuition is a very female emotion that you'll hear women talk about their gut and talk about their feelings and have a bad feeling about that. And men have it as well, but you only hear a man talk about had a bad feeling about that person after the event, right? You do have that intuition. You'll go, oh, I had a bad feeling there, or my gut was telling me something. But the thing has happened. So the trick is here to sit down and go tap into it, going, why do I really want 50 people in the agency? And really dig into that and do it before there's oh yeah, I grew to 50 people and now I'm not happy. So it's just taking yourself away, maybe to, like I used to say to agency owners, go and take yourself to a nice hotel for lunch and sit in the lobby and just mull over why did you start this? Where are you going? I'm not a sailor, but I give a lot of analogies around boating, right? So you can build whatever boat you want. If you want a 2-man canoe and you want to amble along in the meandering waters to look at the scenery, that's your boat. Build a small consultancy. If you want to enter the Sydney to Hobart, well, that's a different crew. That's a different look. They all have to go into training for 6 months. So you have to decide what's the boat, what's the crew, where are you going? Going to the Bahamas? Are you taking it easy? Or are you heading out into a race, into wild water? Are you going to land some big fish? Like big tuna, wicked tuna. I watched a lot of that program, by the way. So I think that's what you've got to decide yourself, because if anything, we know this year you can have, and you've been through, anyone listening to this, you're a survivor. So you can have whatever business you want. You've got to dig in and decide what kind of captain you want to be.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. You know what's interesting is like I use this analogy all the time. I talk about like how skyscrapers are built, and I talk about like, hey, you want your skyscraper to be a skyscraper, you got to dig to the depth of the skyscraper to support it. And it's like when you think about scale right now, people typically just want to go build the big ship. They just want to be like, yeah, I'm going to go build a big ship. But I have a question. How do you take a pulse on where you actually are? So a lot of people might not actually know that they should be a consultant and maybe get rid of the team, or they're creative who woke up one day and they're like, how'd all these people get here? It's like the accidental agency, right? And so there's probably a happy medium there to be like, okay, this is when scale makes sense. This is how I want to go. And I've got a crystal clear vision for it. What are some of the things, like what are some of the natural steps to be like, yeah, I want to build the boat that gets from, London Harbor to Dublin, and I want to figure out exactly how to build it. So I know what its size is. What's the first thing people should do? Is it team?
Well, it's actually, it starts with the agency owner. You have to realize that what you started the business for. If you loved marketing and you loved doing websites for clients, you ain't doing that anymore. You're doing all the other things. So I think if you think of it going, you have to decide what hat you're going to wear and stick to, because you're wearing too many hats. You're guaranteed you're in sales, you're doing a bit of HR. And I have yet to meet an agency owner that goes, OMG, I love the people management. I love the HR. I love having one-to-ones. They don't have that. So you have to go and hire the right person to manage the team, even if it's 8-10 people. That's your client services manager. You need to get all those hats away from yourself. And then you have to decide, what are my roles? What are my numbers? You have to pick a role. You can be the owner of the business and have do really good websites and be the owner for a couple of meetings a week and go back into that.
Mhm.
So EOS, entrepreneurial operating system, I am like a broken record talking about that for the
Yeah.
last 90 years. Start there over the holidays, read traction, and build an accountability chart, your crew, see how many hats you're wearing, and then go, if I could only do one thing, what would that be? Bearing in mind, you're still the owner of the business.
I've literally read traction, and I've done it with a different executive teams and those types of things. So one, everybody, please just pause this and just be like, I'm going to go order traction right now. That's really great. So I think that I've gotten a couple of things from you so far. Know the size of the boat, which I love. Like, where are you going? If you don't know where you're going, it's really hard to also get people on your boat. And that's what I want. That's what I want to talk about too, because you just actually narrowed it down. It's like, okay, cool. So I know the size of boat I want. I know what I want to do on the boat, and I need to be very specific about that. And I kind of understand that I need to hire people for the things that I don't necessarily want to do on the boat. But how do you get people on your boat? Yeah.
And so that's part of that. You have to build a vision. So you have to actually describe, and people have been in the organization. You might have hired them. There could be people there like 18 months and then people there 5 years. You have to stand up in front of them and go, I built this business because things have changed. This is where I want to go. And that you need to show them that you are not going to be holding all these hats in the future. So people need to see a career path for themselves and a progression. And it's totally fine to stand up and go, this is the type of people we need in the business. This is what we're really good at. This is who we're going to service. We're going to go into the landscape gardening niche. We're going to do fantastic websites for them. We're going to do them in a really quick amount of time. And you've just got to show the map, paint the picture with a plan, with an accountability chart. People need job descriptions. They want promotion paths. They want processes and procedures. All the things an agency owner ran out of a corporate
to get away from. Yeah.
How many guys have you met, and there are girls and they're like, so I started this company because I didn't want to be corporate.
Yeah, but you can't. But you also can't have like a commune. You know, it has to have some some accountability.
You can, but it just gets you get outnumbered, and it's not much fun in the end. So I think it's just painting the picture for people and then reminding them. And it's totally fine if someone goes, oh no, hang on, I thought we were champagne sailing. I was in my nice outfit and I was holding a glass of champagne. Oh, you want me to be up the front and you want me to actually sail the boat? No, I don't think so. Right. So that's okay too, because plenty of work out there in the digital agency world. We want to get them on the right boat.
Yeah, and this is interesting. The biggest pain points that I see over and over again from agency owners or business owners in general are the people that kind of have built something. And the crazy part is, they've done so much and are successful, but they've only, like, the pain point is like they've been successful without process. Like they've been successful without ever having that one-on-ones, career paths. They've lost a lot of good people because people get so exhausted because they don't know where they're going either, and they don't know exactly where they can go. And so what I'm thinking is that we're probably talking right now to people that are feeling that. They're feeling like, okay, I built this thing, it's successful, I'm making money, I've got people in my office who do things, and now I just need to know kind of the first step in building a process. And you mentioned a few things. You said, hey, one-on-ones and that kind of stuff. If we could just list out, like, here are the things that you need to go and make sure that you're checking the box on these things for your people, and then that way, I just think people need to know kind of like a little quick hit list.
Yeah. So it'll all start around, especially now, the biggest exercise I'm working with my clients on and have done all this year is sitting down with your whole team and deciding, what do we do really, really well? What are we good at? What's profitable? And do people want that in the future, right? So you might have been awesome at doing, geotagging or something, but people don't want that, or something that you were doing in the past. And once you decide those packages, then you're going to build an expert team around that, right? And it's writing down a list of all the tasks in the business and then grouping them into roles. A lot of agencies build their business around personalities and what people are good at. Oh, Jimmy's really good at doing websites and a bit of account management. And sometimes he does some project management, but it's like, Jimmy's scattered and he's exhausted because he's been doing too many things. So it's about getting people into a specialist role. And then all the other things, you could do outsourcing, you could hire a VA, there's some AI tools coming in, you're seeing them every day. And it's looking at getting that away, because as an agency owner, you need to evolve. You need to think of, okay, I started the business because I love doing websites, but now I realized I'm really good at doing website consultancy or operations or whatever it is.
First of all, that feels insane, because what people are literally trying to look at is, here's the seats in my business. Here's the seats, not the people in the seats. Here are the seats it requires for my business to be successful. Now, what is demanded of that seat? Not who occupies it, but what does that seat demand? And unfortunately, it's going to be a bit of an uncomfortable situation for a lot of these agency owners who are watching this. And so it's my natural next question to talk about how do we get the right people? Obviously, we need to get the right people on, but sometimes you're going to have to transition the people off. And so what does offboarding look like in that kind of growth scale mindset?
Yeah, like just recently I drew this whole kind of diagram of the life cycle of an agency owner. And when they start, they have a couple of core people, like maybe 2 or 3, and they're super loyal to those people. And those people have been tenacious and grown with them. However, to kick it over, you have an opportunity. You're going to invite that person who's been with you for 6 or 7 years, who had access to the agency owner as well. They could hop on a call with them and they were available. That's not going to get you to the next level. So you need to bring in that person, the client services manager, to do the one-to-ones and all the HR and all those training, all of that. Now, sometimes people resent that. They go, I want things to be the same. Yeah. And then sometimes people take a bit of a hit and they go, you're right, I do need to upskill, or I do need to let go of that.
Most scale now is going to also happen by having a decentralized team. And so I want to kind of maybe land our conversation around that, because I feel like a lot of people right now are dealing with a couple different pains. One, scaling for sure, how to scale a remote team, and probably because most of them have pivoted to being a remote office. If not, they weren't already to begin with virtual. So I wanted to know, how do you keep your team, like what are some things that we can start talking to these agency owners about with a virtual team? What are some best practices? Like, I want to grow the company, but I've also got this pesky thing called a virtual team. And I have to now I'm hiring people that will never actually get to meet me physically, or we don't even have an office for them to like help instill culture like you're talking about. So what are some virtual ways to do that? Like, what are some solutions?
So we'll bring EOS back into it. You're going to have to bring out your company values and go, what are the core values, and how are you hiring with those core values? Reminding the team, this is our core values, these are our mantras, this is what we believe in, building them into the communication. A couple of other things then to help with remote teams. First of all, if you're hiring, try to hire 2 people at a time, because they'll buddy up with each other, and they, even though they're not physically in the room together, psychologically they started together. I encourage other buddy systems in the team. So maybe the web guy doesn't really talk to the sales guy. So once a month, pair up different people on your teams and encourage them to have a coffee once a week where there's no work talked. It's just a catch up. It's just a chill. It's like, what's going on in your life? So that way you're building the connection. You've got your core values top and center. Maybe even make core value t-shirts or artwork for their office, stuff like that. I know this sounds really small, but it's huge. And as the owner of the agency, you should be picking up the phone and booking a coffee with every single person in the company. Maybe it might take you a quarter, but again, 20 minutes of, we're not talking work. I want to know how you are, what's going on with your family. That's going to make a massive difference. And something that not a lot of people think of as well is your team completely set up in their office space. Do they have a good desk? Right now in the desk, monitor, seat, right now in my hometown, my dad rang me the other day. He goes, I've just come back from the physiotherapist. He goes, you'll never guess. He's run off his feet. So many people are working from home and they have injuries from sitting on the floor, lying on the bed, not sitting in the right seat. He goes, it's ridiculous. And I said, not a lot of people know. Get a stand-up desk, get a good seat, because they thought it was going to be for a short period of time.
Right.
Check your values, do buddy systems, hire 2 at a time, and check that your team has everything they need. Invest in it, buy it for them, get it out there.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, if you're watching this at home, we just literally gave them, I mean, there's just nugget, and it's all gold. So here's what I always like to do with everybody who's watching these type of videos. They look at you, Clodagh, and they're going to be like, she's got it all together. She knows everything. She's obviously a goddess. She's amazing. So like, help them demystify the fact, because I know this about you. I know that you are a lifelong learner, that you're constantly taking things in. Help them give them a little bit of a break right now. Tell them, reassure them that it's okay to be where they're at.
Oh yeah, it's the first thing when I do meet people in person. Remember that time we met people in person, and I might get off stage after doing a talk, and I get agency owners coming, and they're like, and I'm going, breathe, okay? So totally take a big, massive, deep breath. So first of all, I read EOS after, I think I had an agency for 4 years before I read it, and I cried because all I thought was, why didn't I have this through all the pain? Why did I do things the hard way? So the first thing you're going to do, go and read that and then give up the guilt, right? Just let that go and reach out to other agency owners. But the big thing is, right, whatever reasons you started the business, running away from a corporate job, you didn't want structure, you've got to understand that your mindset as an entrepreneur versus the mindset of your employees is totally different. But if you give them structure, processes, procedure, culture, human resources, all the things that they really need that you do not need, you will have your freedom back. You will have your business back, and it will soar when you take care of the employees the way they need to be taken care of. You can't have this attitude of, but they joined me, they joined an agency, they know what I'm like. Forget what you're like. They need structure, processes, and it'll actually free you up.
That's like this mic drop conversation. That's a hell of a way to end it. I'll tell you, every time I talk to you, I'm just blown away. I know I can just hear the passion in your voice. I know you want these agencies to succeed, clearly. But more than anything, I think we're all just thankful that you made a little time for us. So thank you so much. You're awesome. I love talking to you. I could talk to you all day, but
yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure.
And everybody else, we are going to wrap this up, but please connect with Clodagh, get the book, read the book, be the book, and just we're so happy that you're going to do this. So thanks for paying attention. Thanks to Clodagh, and we'll see you guys.